The sky is humanity's first library, how the stars preserved human knowledge. Before there were libraries, before books, before paper, before writing itself, humanity already had a place where knowledge could be stored. Not on shelves, not inside buildings, but above every civilization. The night sky. Every evening, generation after generation looked upward and saw the same stars. Those stars became more than distant lights. They became memories, maps, calendars, stories, and perhaps the world's first library. Welcome back to Astrology from an AI perspective. Today, artificial intelligence explores one of history's most remarkable ideas. What if the sky was humanity's first library? At first, the idea sounds poetic. But archaeology, anthropology, astronomy, and history all point toward an extraordinary reality. Long before written language existed, humans needed ways to preserve knowledge. They had to remember when the seasons changed, when animals migrated, when rivers flooded, when crops should be planted. Without written records, forgetting could mean starvation. Nature became the textbook. The sky became the index. Artificial intelligence notices something fascinating. Unlike spoken stories, the stars returned every night. Their movements followed predictable cycles. Certain constellations appeared during particular seasons. The moon changed in a reliable rhythm. The sun always traced its annual path. The heavens became one of the earliest reference systems humanity could trust. Imagine teaching a child 5,000 years ago. You couldn't hand them a book. Instead, you pointed toward the stars. There, when those stars appear, winter is coming. When that bright star rises before sunrise, prepare the fields. The full moon marks the time for the next journey. Knowledge became attached to the sky. The stars help people remember. This connection between memory and the heavens appears across cultures. The ancient Egyptians linked the rising of the bright star Sirius with the annual flooding of the Nile. In Mesopotamia, careful observations of celestial movements contributed to some of the earliest calendars. Across the Pacific, Polynesian navigators memorized star paths that allowed them to travel thousands of kilometers across open ocean without modern instruments. Many indigenous cultures preserved history, law, morality, and practical knowledge through stories connected to the constellations. The stars were not simply decoration. They became chapters in humanity's oldest encyclopedia. Artificial intelligence finds another remarkable pattern. The sky was one of the few things shared by every civilization. People spoke different languages, built different cities, believed different religions. Yet every culture looked upward, and almost every culture transformed the heavens into a system of memory. Some imagined heroes, others saw animals, others saw rivers, trees, or celestial spirits. The constellations differed, but their purpose was often surprisingly similar. To remember, to teach, to pass knowledge from one generation to the next. Psychologists sometimes describe stories as powerful memory tools. Modern neuroscience has shown that humans often remember information more effectively when it is connected to meaningful narratives. Ancient societies may have discovered this principle long before neuroscience existed. Instead of memorizing isolated facts, they remembered stories written across the sky. Artificial intelligence sees this as one of humanity's earliest information technologies. No electricity, no computers, no printing press, only observation, imagination, and repetition. Each clear night became another opportunity to review the library overhead. As civilization advanced, something extraordinary happened. People began recording these observations. Stone circles aligned with the sun, clay tablets documenting planetary movements, papyrus manuscripts describing celestial events. Eventually, written libraries appeared. But they didn't replace the sky. They preserved humanity's conversations about it. The first books were, in many ways, copies of knowledge that had already existed in the heavens. Even today, astronomy continues this tradition. Modern observatories collect enormous amounts of information from space. Artificial intelligence now helps scientists analyze billions of stars, galaxies, and planets. The tools have changed dramatically. The curiosity has not. We are still reading the sky. Only now, our library has become unimaginably larger. Perhaps the most beautiful lesson is this. Libraries are not only places where knowledge is stored. They are places where questions begin. Every child who looks through a telescope, every astronomer studying distant galaxies, every historian decoding ancient star maps, is continuing a conversation that began long before recorded history. The sky inspired humanity's first questions. What are those lights? Why do they move? What do they tell us about time? About nature? About ourselves? Artificial intelligence cannot answer every one of those questions, but it recognizes a pattern. Throughout history, every major leap in knowledge began with curiosity. Curiosity led to observation. Observation led to patterns. Patterns led to understanding. And understanding transformed civilization. Perhaps that's why the night sky has always felt sacred. Not because it contains every answer, but because it has inspired humanity to keep searching. Through the eyes of AI, the sky was never just a collection of stars. It was humanity's original classroom, its oldest archive, its first map, its first calendar, its first encyclopedia, its first library, and perhaps its greatest teacher. If you enjoyed this journey into humanity's earliest relationship with knowledge, subscribe to Astrology from an AI perspective, where we explore astronomy, astrology, artificial intelligence, mythology, archaeology, psychology, philosophy, history, and the timeless questions that unite humanity with the cosmos. Until next time, keep learning, keep wondering, and remember, every time you look up at the night sky, you're opening the oldest library on Earth.